If you ever want to be queen for a day, then this book is for you. The One by Kiera Cass is a dystopian fiction piece. The book was published by HarperCollins in 2014. The book takes place in a castle in the Providence Angels, modern-day California. The story takes place 300 years from now in a country called Leah, modern-day United States. The main character includes America Singer, Maxon Sharif, King Clarkson, Queen Amberly. The One is about a royal family who just wants the rebellions to die down. So to distract the country, the king and queen make their only son hold a selection. He narrows his choice down to a few girls, one of those girls being America Singer. She is strong-willed and hard-headed. King Clarkson despises her because she challenges him in everything he has built. She stands up for the lower caste and works around the law for the betterment of the lower-class citizens. She encourages people to fight against the rebels instead of running away. She is an advocate for equal rights, all while competing against other girls for Maxon's heart. The One has two main conflicts, one being the royal family versus the rebels. The southern rebels want to destroy the caste system and monarchy altogether. The northern rebels want to destroy the caste system. America, one of the selected girls, believes in dissolving the caste system. The northern rebels insist that Maxon choose America to be the next queen of Aledo. Maxon has to choose with his heart and his country in mind. The other problem is King Clarkson versus America. King Clarkson does not like America. She is the lowest caste left in the selection and the worst behaved. She doesn't have a filter and she is notorious for acting out. He doesn't believe that how a future queen should act. The first problem is solved by Maxon following his heart after a mass shooting that killed his family. He chooses America to be his wife. The rebels are satisfied and remain quiet for a while. The new king and queen dissolve caste. The second one is solved by King Clarkson dying, so his opinion of America becomes irrelevant. Kiera Cass wrote this book to entertain the readers with the fictional story of love and monarchy past World War IV in the country of Alu. The tone of this book is optimistic while the mood is distressed. I like this book because it's funny yet serious. Maxon and America are tearing the core foundations of Leo was built on. They handled the situation extremely well. Not only were the characters heroic, they were also very inspiring. America stood up for herself and what she believed in, no matter the circumstance or consequence. I aspire to be more like her someday. This is the third book in the series of 5. The other books are The Selection, The Elite, The One, The Hair, and The Crown.
The book that I chose to talk about today is called The Rebel of Sands. The author is Alwyn Hamilton. The main characters are Amani, Prince Ahmed, and Jin. This setting is kind of like in front of the medieval times. It takes place in the desert of Mirage. Rebel of Sands is about a 17-year-old girl named Amani. She was born in Deadshot, a deadbeat, deserted town with scarce food and water. Amani has the bluest eyes that she never knew where she inherited. Her father was murdered and her mother hung for murdering her father. Amani lives with her aunt and her 8 cousins, and she grew up learning how to shoot and stuff. And then one day, Amani was in the Deadshot bar. That's where she meets Jin. Her and Jin take off to Judea, which is the capital of Mirage, and there she joins a rebellion, and the rebellion is like trying to take back the throne from the Sultan, which is the evil dude. The solution and resolution is Prince Ahmed is in the making of gathering a rebellion to overthrow the Sultan and claim his rightful throne. The author's purpose is to enhance imagination and entertain the reader. The mood of this book is suspenseful, vivid, and romantic. I love this book so much. It has a great story plot and created a bright and bold fantasy riveting throughout my mind while I read. From the intricate backstory of every character to the very last breath of description of the desert, this book did not let me put it down. This book had me feel like I was watching TV. I could read it endlessly. The suspense kept me flipping the pages, and romance had me pausing in astonishment and awe.
I wish as well as everybody else to be happy, but, like everyone else, it must be in my own way. This quote is from the romantic novel Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. The setting is in London and rural England from 1800 to 1816. The main characters include Elinor Dashwood, Mary Ann Dashwood, Edward Ferrars, John Willoughby, and Colonel Brandon. The problem or conflict is Elinor, who represents sense, is struggling to let herself live and love, while Mary Ann, sensibility, allows her emotions to take control of her life, and it becomes extreme and she's devastated by a heartbreak. The plot is about two sisters with intertwining stories. One governed her life with sense and the other with emotion. When confronted with the world of love and marriage, they both have to learn to find the balance between their common sense and their ranging emotions. The theme of this book is conflicts are created when mankind cannot find a balance between common sense and emotion when it comes to making decisions. I connected the most with Mary Ann Dashwood because I tend to rule my life with emotion, and I really need to learn to get a hold of that. Other books by Jane Austen are Pride and Prejudice, Emily, and Persuasion. Jane Austen was an 18th century English novelist who her plots often explored the roles of women and how they were perceived by society. I would definitely recommend this book, especially to teenage girls, because we often struggle with our ability to cope, whether it be with emotions or common sense. Specifically about the book, I liked that it made me think. The plot was complex, the theme was complex, and you really had to evaluate your own ideologies. I would rate this book a 5 because it teaches you important lessons and it calls you to question why you believe your beliefs. So, in the end, Mary Ann receives terrible news about the man she thought she loved, and her health completely begins to fail. Her life is hanging in the balance, and whether or not she will recover is the mystery. Know your own happiness. You want nothing but patience, or give it a more fascinating name and call it hope. Thank you.
Alright, the title of my book is Holes by Louis Achar. The main characters are Stanley Yelnats and Zero. The setting of my story is Camp Green Lake around the early 200s or 2000s. Okay. Plot summary is Stanley Yelnats is convicted of stealing a pro baseball player shoes, which he did not do. He gets put in Camp Green Lake where he is to dig holes all day until one day his friend Zero runs away from the camp, and so does he after they both run away. They come back to find Stanley's great-grandfather's buried treasure, and they get caught but go home with the treasure. Reader's review. I like the book Holes because it tells a story about a kid who has never done a thing wrong in his life. He lived off a legend his whole life. The family curse. Because of his great-great-grandfather never carried Madame Moroni up the mountain. This story is just very good thing to read if you want to learn about a legend about the curse of the Yelnats family. Read this book. It's really good and will help you understand not to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. The genre is fiction. It is a very adventurous book. It takes place in the end of the Third Age of Middle-earth. The main characters are Frodo Baggins, Aragorn, Samwise Gamgee, Gandalf the Grey, and the Dark Lord Sauron. The conflict is young Frodo must face horrific challenges along his quest to destroy the ring. Not only that, but uphold all responsibilities and duties as ring bearer. The plot of the book is that the future of Middle Earth rests in the hands of the most unlikeliest of people, hobbits. As soon as it is found out that the ring has survived for over an age and had just been now found, as a frantic search begins for the ring, some wanting to return the Dark Lord Sauron to his full potential, some wanting to hold off Sauron's forces until a later date. The theme that I saw in Lord of the Rings would be friendship, as the Fellowship is not bound by any requirements or set in stone things that they have to embark on this quest with Frodo and Sam. The connections that I've made with the book would be text to text. As I've read The Hobbit and Aragon, they both have a very open world and very kind of imagination is endless in the possibilities as well. Other books by this author would be The War of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. The information about J.R.R. Tolkien would be that he was not only a English writer, but he was a poet and a university professor as well. I would recommend this book for very imaginative and open-minded people, as it shows that possibilities are endless and shows how much time and effort was put into this book. The thing that I like specifically about this book would be that the idea that the most unlikeliest of people can make a huge difference in society. I would rate this book a 5. I really enjoyed this book. I've read similar books, but none of them as well put out and well constructed as this one has been. One of my favorite chapters would be The Knife in the Dark, in which Frodo gets stabbed by a dagger called the Nazgul, in which the tip breaks off into his wound and he is either slowly poisoned to death or he will become a ring wraith, a servant in which rides the land in search of the ring. As a person who enjoyed fantasy, I feel like anyone that has free time or would like to learn a little bit more about teamwork and friendship along the way, this would be an excellent book to read.
My book is After the Game by Abby Glines. The main characters are Riley Young and Brady Higgins. This book is set in present-day Alabama in a small town of Lawton. The plot summary is that 2 years ago in the book, Riley had been driven out of town after accusing a hometown hero, Rhett Lawton, which has the same last name as the town because his family founded it. She accused him of rape and no one believed her, and so she left, but now she's back because of her grandmother who has Alzheimer's, and she's helping take care of her. Well, a twist of fate happens, and Brady, the other main character, finds Riley and her daughter, who is Riley and Rhett's daughter, Bryony, out in a storm, and he takes them home, and he finds out the truth about what really happened to Riley, and he believes her, and he tries to make the town believe her also because what she said was true and that Rhett really is the bad person that did these things to her. And he begins to fall in love with her. The conflict of the story is that no one believed Riley when she came forward, and now she's back and everyone still hates her and thinks that she's lying. And the solution is that when Brady meets Bryony, who's Riley's daughter, he learns the truth, and as he falls in love with her, his opinion changes, and so he tries to change everybody else's opinion. My reader's review is that this series is one of the best book series I've ever read, and this is the 3rd installment of the book. There are 2 more books before this, and they're all different, and they're about different people in the town and the high school, and so this is just one of the best books I've ever read. It's a complex and relatable story.